Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Meat here. Today we're going to continue our quest to beat Pathfinder Kingmaker. If you recall from our last episode, we have found Lantern King. This is literally the last fight, from what I understand. There is secret endings to this game. Sadly, we did not do everything we needed to do to get that best, if you will, ending. There is a ultimate good ending, which is supposed to be pretty badass. Highly recommend that you Google it. Go on YouTube. Actually, you can find it. People have done an amazing job. Very, very nice cinematic at the end, I must admit. So I have seen the perfect ending. It is not going to be mine. Know that I'm using mods for this game, so if you're playing on PC, you can download these from the Nexus. Just go to Google, Nexus, type in Nexus and Pathfinder, and you'll find these and so many more. The things that stick out for you will be that I have turn-based combat. This is well before the developers have issued a patch giving us turn-based combat for PC and eventually console. But right now you currently don't have that ability unless you download this mod. The other big one would be Eldritch Arcana. This allows me to have things like a couple spells that you don't have access to, as well as traits, which were never implemented in the game. Those traits were allowed me to make undead characters, for example. Let's get back into it, though, shall we? Since we know this is going to be the last fight, you better believe I'm going to buff to the goddamn nines. I have no idea how long the fight is, as far as, are we going to beat the guy and it's over? Are we multiple levels of the dungeon or whatever to hit him? It's our castle, our keep, whatever, that we're basically, our throne room that we're basically infiltrating here. So it could be quick and done, or it could be a long, protracted battle. Well, we're going to make sure that we are buffed. If we think this is the best, worst-ish fight for our team, then you better believe we want to have every buff going in. Since it's basically a big flaming lantern goddess, or god wannabe jackass from the Fey realm, you better believe we're going to get some buffs like fire protection. Let's actually back away from the door here while we do this stuff. Let's see. So, we have taken a knee. And again, the fight I don't imagine is going to last very long, but that doesn't mean we don't want to use our extended magic rods on certain things. On the ones that are a minute long or longer per caster level, I don't mind using them normally. So, I'll even refresh my wing stuff. From there, she's going to get this one. Make sure she's topped off on that. Now these other ones like Greater Invis and others, I'll actually, one round per caster level, I'll actually use the extended magic rod on those ones. Here is Eliza. This is our tank. She doesn't need Shield of Faith anymore. We all have our investments for 5 minutes, 11 hours. Let's actually refresh these for the front two guys at the very least. He's got 8 hours on his, he's got 2 hours on his, she's got 10 hours on hers, so they're all fine. The Jubilee should have Delayed Poison, Communal, so we'll have him cast that on the team. I will have her, though, give us the Resist Fire buff. Let's even throw in some Resist Electricity just because. And we want Death Ward. Front two characters at least. Spell Resistance, we're going to slap on the front 3 characters. Okay, now we are going to have her cast a Shield spell. Again, she also has that meta magic trick for extending spells. So things like Sense Vitals and Greater Invis, before we go in, those will be the last 2 buffs I cast on her where we use the Meta Magic Rod. Why? Because I want to make sure that they last her up to 4 minutes. And in her case, she'll actually get that. I do want to buff her weapon, but let's make sure we're on the right weapon. What are we actually going to be wielding here? Vein Finder, that's a decent choice. An Edict sacrifices their will. Deadly Grace. Don't ignore the +1 because the weapon buff I'm about to give will bring it up to a +5. Dark Wind. Extra Sneak Attack. I might want to swap those around like that. What else you got, though? You have Troublemaker. Okay, now this is the Flaming... What we got here? Flaming +2 Destructive, Agile, Anarchic, Finesse Movement. Holy crap. And, of course, the All-Slayer Short Sword. Now, that's the interesting one. That's the one that... does straight up divine damage. Maybe that's our guy. Yeah, let's do that. The reason that this is applicable for us is because this is considered a light weapon. You see that? Because we're 2-weapon wielding. If you ever 2-weapon wield, you see the -2 penalty? That is because we have 2-weapon fighting. Improved 2-weapon fighting gives us our second attack, and then greater 2-weapon fighting gives us our third. Now, the first one, minimum, you want, and the reason for that is because if you do not, you have a massive penalty to your swing for your main weapon and your offhand weapon. If you do 2-weapon fighting at least as a feat, you will take it down to a -4 and a -4 for each. Notice it says -2. You just said it was -4, Brother Mutant. Yes, because if your offhand weapon is a light weapon, hence the daggers, and in this case a short sword, which is a light weapon, then you have a -2 penalty for both attacks. This is why the rapier is good, but not great, because it is a finessable weapon. It's not a light weapon. As such, it can be in your main hand, but you don't want it in your offhand, otherwise you suffer a -4 and a -4 penalty. Now maybe, hey, if you're a fighter type, rock that shit. You can have more than enough BAB to actually work it. I'm not really worried about it. But for her, she's suffering from being a Eldritch Scoundrel, and therefore only has a BAB of 15. So I really don't want to take a -4 versus a -2. You see the problem here? So again, this is perfect choice for her. We'll see what else we have for her. Anything that we want to buff with? Yeah, let's get that greater magic weapon up now. So this is for the main weapon, the one that's in her primary hand, the rapier. We have a heroism spell. Transformation, that'll be like the last spell we cast. Like the very last, well, during the fight is what I mean. Because she really doesn't want to use that until she runs out of spells. Jubilot's turn. Give her a shield spell if you would, sir. Do the same yourself. And do one for Tristan as well. Give yourself Expeditious Retreat. Do that for Tristan as well. In fact, you know what? Screw that. Give it to her as well. You want to have everybody zippy. Give yourself Blur. Give her Blur. Give Tristan Blur. Seeing Viz for everybody. Delay Poison for everybody. I want you to have Heroism on yourself. And what else do we have? Let's give himself some Acid Communal Protection. We already have Electric and Fire. Now, is there anything else? Yes, we have Overland Flight Wings or Airwalk. Let's give Airwalk to Jubilot. And her. Wings to Tristan. And to her. Stone Skin for everybody. Legendary Proportions. That will last a decent amount of time. Let's slap that on our tank. Makes her big and strong and awesome. And True Seeing, put that on Jubilot. I don't want him messing with his bombs. And spell resistance for himself. And her. Now we have freedom of movement. 8 minutes on that one still, that's fine. She does not have freedom of movement, so let's put it on her. Like, yay. Okay, that's nice. Freedom of movement, yes. Permanent, so she has a buff on her. He's got 8 minutes on his still. He does not have it. She has it for some amount of time. Let me shut that minute measure right off. I just saw that. Right, Jubilot, you have one more of those. I say cast that on Tristan. He may have the ability to do so already anyway, but I'd rather it be taken care of. And again, Death Ward. Put that on Juby. Put the other one over here on Octavia. Okay. Now, I believe that Jubilot has about blown his wad for buffage. We have Barkskin still, that's just crazy talk. He still has 2 hours on the mutagen he's currently drank, so he's still got plenty. He doesn't need to use those and can only use them on himself anyway. Let's remove blindness. Nobody is blind, so we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, no one is blind, right? Yeah, we're good. Okay, what else we got? We got another Stone Skin if we need it for the party. Transformation, and again, I can honestly do this one because on Jubilot, and I can say that because he doesn't cast spells in combat. What he does is he throws bombs. Those are not spells. So that should be okay. I'll save it just to make sure. But we won't do that until, again, we get into combat. And again, that's right here. So put it like so, just so that it's obvious that we want to click on that one. Okay? The only other thing he might want to cast in combat would be something like heal or remove blindness, something like that. But again, we're not anticipating that level of problems.
Right here, my friend.
Tristan's turn. Bless spell for everybody. Remove fear for everybody. I think he still needs a Shield of Fate, but I can't remember. Alright, now he can cast this. Now what do we got here? I have plenty of buff. She's got plenty of buff. She's got 11 hours, 8 hours, 2 hours. She's probably the one that's hurting, right? No, 10 hours. Okay, so we don't even need this spell. We'll save that in case we need to heal. He needs Death Ward on himself. So, and Fiery Body. Rarely use on you. This is an amazing spell. This one gives you... Well, here, let me actually show it to you. Is this level 9? Fiery Body gives you for a lot of things. For example, immunity to fire, but also you heal damage from fire attacks. For every 3 points of damage you would take, you actually heal 1 health point. So if he spams, say, Fireball at his feet, it's entirely possible to heal him up with something like that on him. That's awesome. That's personal effects, only he can cast it on himself. But he's immune to a variety of things. Blindness, critical hits, ability to score damage, disease and electricity, poison, and stunning. Just a retarded amount of stuff. He's got acid resistance 30 built into him. He takes more damage from cold, so again, if I have her cast like resistance to cold, that'll at least help. He has a bonus to dexterity, but he probably already had that anyway. He does extra damage with his unarmed melee attacks, but you know, he doesn't do that anyway. But here's the fun part. Fire spells have a +1 to their DC check, and he does have fire spells. So when he starts throwing out stuff like Incendiary Cloud or, another example, Hellfire is not considered a fire spell, but this one is. Flame Strike, for instance, or Fireball spells, or Wall of Fire and all that jazz, he has the ability to straight up jack it up the tiniest bit more for the DC check, which I do appreciate. For her, she needs her shield spell, of course. She gets Heroism. I have Heroism. She has 2 greater Heroism, so who's left? She has Heroism. He has Heroism. Give it to Tristan. Greater Heroism to our main tank. Greater Heroism to yourself. Okay. Now those only last like 20 minutes. In this case, 19. 1 minute per caster level. She's level 19 caster. That's plenty, I think, for this area. Now she has other buffs besides, again, like Sense Vitals, and I got Greater Vision here somewhere. Yeah, so what we want to do is pull everybody up here. Quick save. Pause it so we don't waste our buffs. We want to go through anybody that may have a buff, haste, greater invis, things that are 1 round per caster level stuff that we want to extend. So here's our ability to cast haste.
Together we stand.
Lesser Quicken, Intensify. I don't think she has anything. Although I do cast Weapon of Awe. I think I'll do that on her as well, just to have that part covered.
Let's move
she will use her Rod of Undeath as an extended magic rod, as you see. She will cast Sense Vitals on herself.
So,
Blast
any
doesn't need
brilliant
to.
ideas?
He doesn't need to.
Ready and
She
willing.
will cast using the Greater Extent. It's kind of wasteful, but whatever. She'll cast Greater Invis on herself. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Now, the reason we did that was, again, so we're not wasting our turns. He just cast Haste on everybody. See that? He still has his Magic Rod up, so we're going to use Extend also on Greater Invis for himself.
I stand
She
ready.
doesn't need it.
No one stands
She
in my
does,
way.
and she's going to cast Greater Invis for herself now that she's got the Sense Vitals on. And she's going to cast Sense Vitals on herself.
Strike from the shadows.
Okay, now, shut that off.
Losing my
Shut this one off. That one off. And he will, of course, last thing, buff his weapon. Now, remember, haste does not stack with a speed weapon, We don't have a speed weapon. Normally we do, but we do not right now. We have a speed weapon. As a matter of fact, I was given a tool tip from somebody the other day. I want to make sure I solve this right now. That there was a problem. Let's go by weight. There's a problem with one of the fights. Oh, this could be a real problem because I don't think we have that weapon. Oh, tell me you didn't do something stupid like get rid of it. Oh, this so sucks. Or maybe have it on someone else. Sorry, I should be telling you what I'm doing. I was told that sometimes there's bad guys in the game that literally they need cold iron to kill them, and this might be one of those fights. So I'm looking for a cold iron weapon, and I don't think we got one. Speed necrotic longsword, light of valor. Oh no, I got cold iron longsword right there. Okay, cool. All right, so we're fine. I just need to put what? Sure, why not? Put that back on. Now that'll be for later. Again, if the guy doesn't drop and he's susceptible only to cold iron to finish him off, that's the weapon we switch to. I want to make sure we had that in the list of possible weapons. Okay, for our weapon, like I said, that we can't have a speed buff on the weapon because we already have haste on. Haste will not last us but 4 minutes, but during that 4 minutes we're going to be uber with our attacks and movement. So it doesn't stack, might as well use it for something else. So don't waste the 3 points here for speed. Use it for things like setting it on fire and making it a cold attack and making it a shock attack. And then we're going to do Keen and Bane, Endurance, which means it's lasts equal to my caster level in minutes. In this case, 20. Up. So I just buffed my weapon all kinds of ways to Sunday now. So make sure to shut all those things back off. I don't have to shut them off. I just do. Quick save that. And it's time to go in and kick this bastard's ass, guys. Let's do this shit. Yes. Oh, Pumpkin King, I've come for your throne, bastard. Lantern King. Your footsteps echo from the ceiling of the ravaged throne room. The sound attracts the attention of the old Remus. It's this bastard here who basically was the Lantern King pretending to be a human. Slouching on the steps of the throne, he looks up, shakes his head slightly as if displeased, but keeps silent. Nothing betrays the mask of a deity in this hunched man.
A horrible battle awaits us, my spring. But I believe it's for the best. We will save you and your kingdom. We must.
Yeah, see, this is again another example of how we did not complete everything to get the best ending. I think the best ending really requires you also save her soul, which we did not do. But she's willing to help us. We returned her soul to her and basically gave her the ability to love again, but she is still cursed forever.
We should have finished our search. But it's too late now. There's a battle ahead. A horrible battle.
I have no idea what that actually means.
Words, words. How little value we attach to them, and how much they truly mean. But I've grown tired of words and prophecies. I will no longer predict chaos and death. Instead, I will show them to you, myself.
Oh yes, the time has come! The time of fate and curses!
Dispatch those fools!
Kick him in his ballsack, team. Alright, so we had our initiative check. Amazing for me. And everyone else pretty much sucks. Hell, even Irissa rocked a 30, and I still hit a 40. I'm 10 points higher than everybody. Okay. Almost forgot to activate that. That's extra damage. So here's the Lantern King. We got Vildraven. Let's just fuck him up. We'll hurt everybody else out on here. And they'll try to hit me, and we'll do them no good. You're coming over here, Honey Bear, and we are using your cantrip trick for 1, and we're doing Skeletor's Poof for 2. And then from there, we're hitting his bastard, and we're hitting him hard, guys. So let's do Innervation on him, see if that does anything. Oh, -1 level at least, so it does hurt him. He has spell resistance of 19. That's not bad. That's not great. That means, so it's not something that we have to particularly worry about. It's still a problem, sure, but it's not something that's going to screw us over. And because she did sneak attack with that, she still did damage to strength. That's pretty nice. And by the way, do we have any kind of knowledge on this bastard? Power attack, strength damage, bewildering injury, disorienting injury. So she just screwed him 2 different ways now. So she lowered his attacks by 2 and lowers his armor by 2 by doing that. And that's beautiful. And of course a negative level. The negative level takes all his saves down another point apiece. But he's got some amazing saves. So you see the problem here. He's extremely perceptive, so being invisible, sneaking up on him is probably not going to do us much good. The invisible is probably more for these Vilder Raven bastards. He's not particularly strong as far as physical. His wisdom, on the other hand, holy shit. But his physical stats are not particularly impressive. We fought harder trolls. He does have damage reduction. Oh, exception's chaotic. He's immune to disease. That's important information. Didn't say he's immune to poison, though. That's extremely beneficial. He's got all kinds of monk shit going on for him. Oh, he's a Feyan monk. Okay. Oh, Jesus, that might be bad. Alright, Proto, you're done? What the hell is that up there? You guys see that shit? What the hell was that? Kept flashing something up here. Like a body. Honestly, I wanted to say it was Eliza, but she's way the hell back here, so I don't understand it. Well, anyway. Jubiloss, you're moving up here. You know how you do. We're going to go balls to the wall with our bombs, so I say fuck them up.
Clever ploy.
Yeah. He's taking solid damage though. A tough little nugget. Oh, that's the skeletons. Well, I say, they actually hit me. Holy shit. Now here's Eliza's turn. Now there's something I forgot to cast on her. I knew there was something I forgot. Divine Power and Righteous Might. But she does have the legendary proportions on already. So she's actually okay. Let's actually have her come up here and charge the Vilder next to me. She's so big that she has a massive reach, which is freaking awesome. Tristan's turn. Come up here, Tristan. We have the Greater Intensify, Leviathan's Gift. Let's hit him with a goddamn Bone Shaker, shall we? 39. Taking it. That's solid damage. Maximized and holy damage that it was intensified. That was totally worth. Actually, I don't even think I need to intensify that now that I think about it. That one caps out at 13d6 anyway. Octavia's turn. Come on up here, hon. I don't know if we're going to get flanked. I should actually be keeping an eye out for shit that pops up behind us. They like to do that. Don't see anything. But she's got movements to spare. And she has her cantrip trick. So first let's do that. Let's just throw some acid on this bastard here. Get that shit started. And I think I might want to whittle down those numbers a little bit. Let's see if we can disintegrate this son of a bee. Shut that off, of course. Hit. Oh yeah, there's a dead guy. Woo! Oh, that was sexy. And again, part of that is because of Sense Vitals. So again, that 13d6 plus 13, it should be 8d6 plus 8. That's your typical. So the 5d6 plus 5 more on this side is because of the spell we just cast on her, the Sense Vitals, and that thing lasts for 2 minutes, 1 minute, or sorry, 1 round per caster level. So just shy of 2 minutes for her, but we doubled the duration of it thanks to the Extended Magic Rod, so it's damn near a 4-minute buff. Ooh. That was nasty. The hell was that? Oh, Nyrissa attacked. Oh, Ray of Annihilation? What is that shit? Medium range, affected by spell resistance, force descriptor. Very nice. Casting time is a move action. You bitch. I want that spell. Touch attack. She's really good at her touch attack. She's got nice dexterity too. Solid damage. 20d6. Not as good as my incineration spell, or whatever the hell it's called. The disintegration. But respectable. Alright, where's the Lantern King? Fuck you up, door. Wow, bro. What the fuck happened here? He's got a 46 armor class. Well, alright, fair enough. Proto's turn. Alright, it's time for straight up just damage, damage, damage. I didn't see anything about him being immune to fire. Got spell resistance, of course, but she managed to take his strength down 6 points there. That's pretty solid. And he has taken some fire damage with some sneak attack love on top of that shit. What was that, though? Reduced to 0, reduced to 43. So she sucked up... he sucked up 30 points, so he has 30 fire protection. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. We do have cantrips, though. And acid. You know what? Screw it. This is time to balls to the wallet, right? So let's hit him with something that's going to auto-hit. I don't know. Let's hit him with something that'll hit and do some serious damage. Battering Blast. Here we go. Oh, hell yeah.
You don't seem to like my curses. Maybe you'll like my jokes better?
Back in it. Okay, fight number 2. Still fighting the Lantern King. Has he changed in any significant way? He's got a crossbow now. Light repeating crossbow. Bard. He's a Bard Fae now. Okay, not a monk. Which means his armor's probably pissed, right? Yeah, way worse. Should be even easier for us to wail on him this time. Okay. But he's got spells and buffs and all that shit besides, because of all his bardic stuff. That's fine. 5-foot stutter step here and wail on him. Come on. Get him. Yeah. Get him. Come on. Get him. Reducing a lot of that damage. But he's taking it on the chin. I'm down about a third of his health, maybe, taken from him on that one attack. Alright, Dora's turn. And again, we don't know that he's immune to fire, so let's try again. Oh, but he is immune to sneak attack, apparently. Or, we haven't flanked him proper. That's entirely possible as well. Let's get her Meta Magic Rod. Let's just do an acid cantrip. See what that does to him. So we can hurt him with acid. Full amount, no less. 6 is not a stellar amount, but if we can get sneak attack back into the game on this son of a bitch, then we have a pretty good shot at wailing on him with some acid spells. Each turn. Goes some skeletons. Oh, did he teleport? You dick. Alright, Liza, get over here. I'll
Strike as one.
Tristan's turn. He has Skeletors. Do we have any Quicken Meta Magic for you, buddy? Selective, persistent. Yes. Okay, that's just so that he has the ability to move and do something for us, like auto hit. There we go. I'll take 23 damage. He's down to half. The skeletons, again, are just there to keep him from roaming about. I mean, obviously, he can teleport, but I don't want him not to be flanked, you know what I mean? Juby, you're over here, and you're Mr. Bombastic. Is he evil? No, he's chaotic neutral. I'm about to say, if he's evil, I can do holy bombs. But he's not, so let's just throw force bombs on his ass. Plus, they have that knockdown ability that I love if he fails to save, which of course he has. Solid, Juby. Solid. That was lame. Alright, how's he though? Oh, he's about dead already. Nice. Octavia. Alright, so now let's actually show you a spell that we've never had a chance to use here, guys. Let me shut this off. It is a level 7 spell called Caustic Eruption. So you see the area of effect, and I highlight it like so. Okay? I'm actually going to drag right there. This spell is a massive AoE acid damage spell. No spell resistance, just basically a reflex save or get hurt with acid. Now, I'm going to move her to here, take a look at how close she is to hurting anybody else. She's actually hurting everybody damn near on the party. See that? Now we have acid protection, sure, but we don't only have like 30. So I want to make sure that she limits the damage. So let's try it like that. Now I believe he's being targeted. Just the tiniest bit. There's the control. Like that, so I can incrementally move slow. Like so. Fire it off. It's going to kill our skeletons back. That hurt us. Proto took a little on the chin there, but again, she resisted 39 of it. 69 of damage, knocked down to 39. Bad, but not horrible. And again, I appreciate the fact that he took damage. At least I think he did. Let's take a look at that Lantern King reflex save. Ah, 62 to him. Ah, got sneak attack on that shit too. Yeah, kid. Go get it. Alright, and now we have a swift action. So again, our magic rod. Throw another one of those at his ass. Ah, no joy. Mavericks is just taking out those bastards. They're all ganging up on me. Dorraj gonna run for the Lantern King. Oh, the Lantern King has 2 attacks. Why does he get 2? Oh, he's 2 of them in here. Well, there's multiple Lantern Kings. What the hell? Huh. How's he doing? He ain't dead yet. Dora, I want you to charge this fool. Die, loser.
The time for laughter has passed. It's the hour of hunting and chaos.
Chaos.
Cut them to pieces!
Oh, nice shot, Honey Bear. 150 damage to start it off. Well, there went all my freaking mirror images on my character. So we got the Lantern King, Wild Hunt Scout, Monarch. Oh yeah, that prick. Oh, maybe that's what they were telling me. Was the Wild Hunt Monarch needs to die. And all these other guys, if you don't kill the Monarch. Maybe that's what's going on. Alright, anyway, Dora's turn. And I do like a... Quick another magic rod. Do I have that? No, I have maximized. You know what? Let's see how these guys like their person.
Strike!
Remember, we're immune to poison with our spell. It's that delayed poison that was cast on ourselves earlier, thanks to Jubilost. Eliza,
Do not
go ahead and
hold
use block
back.
on this bastard. Nice sneak attack. And then
We shall
a little
overcome.
bit closer, and then range that bastard. She's got a massive reach now, so. Okay, Juby. I really want that Monarch to
Will
die,
they
buddy.
ever learn?
It worked on him, but boy, he's just having a hard time killing him. Tristan's turn. Now he, on the other hand, he's going to have a much easier time. So, how would we like to do this? Auto hit? Probably. Oof. Got sneak attacked. Wow, that's not cool. Alright, Proto, you can step right here, hon. Let's have you do your beam on that Monarch. Wow, that was pretty. And we still have bad guys in the area, so apparently he didn't summon anybody, or if he did, that I didn't see them disappear, so that's okay. Now it's your turn to really just straight up hit this guy, right? So let's do a cantrip. No, let's get skeletons again out. Just fuck with them. There we go. Octavia. Ooh, you're standing right next to a guy. That is a problem. You need a 5-foot stutter step away from that fool. What's that? Okay, now, what can we do? I say... Let's make sure the, no, he's flanked. Surely he's flanked with a skeleton, and Eliza alone, he should be sneak attackable. Quick way of checking that, of course, would be to use a cantrip. So use a quicken. Hit him. Yeah, we got sneak attack. So we don't have to do... I was going to use the impromptu sneak attack. And she's invisible, too. So between all that, I mean, she's got a pretty good chance of making sure she hits him. Let's straight up hit him with this battering blast. That's a fun one. Whew. Did work, honey. Oh, he's down by half, and that she just fucking nailed him for, what was that, about 150, 200 and some HP. And then we got a teleporter. Okay, Dora, come over here. Nice hit, solid hit. Tristan got slacked somehow. Sickened. Ah, shit. Okay, Eliza. Yeah, come over here and beat the shit up. Go ahead and take out all the skeletons, man. Go right ahead. See if I give a rat's ass. Doobie. Come on, buddy. Knock him down. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Nice try, though. Solid damage. I mean, you can't really complain. You guys are messing with the wrong things. Hey, we heal, baby. There we go. Just in case I don't want to have to deal with that shit. And I don't think he has a quicken, so we'll just stop. Proto, on the other hand, she's got some fun. Let's ray beam the shit out of this bastard now. Got him with one. He's about dead. Out of the fearless. Let's hit him with a snowball spell. I think that's oh, hell yeah. That's 3 down. Oh, here he is. Enough! As soon as the Horned Hunter's body disappears in the fire, the destroyed throne room is flooded with light. The Lantern King, in his true blazing form, appears in the middle of the throne room. His serious mask is ringed by fire. The games have ended. Time freezes like resin, trapping you and the eldest in amber light, and this light grows brighter. The rays pass through you, pierce you, ruthlessly burying you most intimate secrets, fears, and desires. Something inside of you resonates with the lights of the eldest. Your curse is like the splinter of an arrow that remains in the wound, a slow weapon crawling towards your heart. As soon as the rays touch it, it begins to heat up, and then burns with intolerable pain.
Time for masks is over. You risk challenging an eldest, and I accept the challenge. You fight not a mere embodiment, but my true essence. This is my essence. I don't need magic or servile monsters to destroy you. Words are enough. Yes, words. I once told you, words spoken in the right time and place possess the power of the storm. You lightheartedly answer that you know what your power and essence are. Duty. Desire to make the world a better place. I remember your answer. The world remembers it too. Your answer, your heart, your essence. Now, cursed king, I'm taking this part of your soul, as I took away Nerissa's ability to love. What you called your essence is yours no more.
The words of the eldest fly towards you like an arrow, ready to give new force to the curse that already torments you. You have but an instant to reply. Now, notice that we have a will save here. Your words are nothing more than wind. Let them fly away. 32 out of 38 means you need a 6 or better. That's not bad. That means we only have like a 25% chance to fail it. Notice the bluff, though. We got a 45 thanks to Eliza being a fucking baller. And as such, only on a critical failure will we fail this. And this is actually one of the good, better endings, I suppose. Bluff. And why do you imagine I told you the truth back then? Eldest of mischief and lies. Perhaps you are the one who was fooled. One who can be fooled so easily has no power over words. But yes. Oof. A wave of pain comes crashing down upon you, but recedes quickly. You cannot tell whether you are protected by your words or something more, the essence of your soul. But the attack of the eldest was parried. Suck it, bitch.
Let us continue. We both wear a crown. But what do you want? A meager patch of land, a few thousand souls? My dominion is chaos and magic, madness and deceit. Your power is nothing compared to mine. And that is why you are helpless before me. You will take my every blow as a divine punishment, as something imminent.
Yet again, you have little time to answer. This answer is the only thing that can protect you from the eldest's next blow. Now, let's see, we have, you love to wreak havoc and play evil pranks while I care about nothing more than the good of my people, and I know my way is right. Yeah, it seems like. Lore religion, on the other hand, which is 9 or better to pass it. It's not that great, quite frankly. What would that be? 8 times 5 is 40. So there's a 40% chance we could fail this one. I know enough about divinity to say that you are no deity. Don't try to scare me. You don't possess that sort of power. Or we can do a knowledge arcana check. Now that's one we only need a 6 or better. So that's the best shot we got. I know enough about magic and sorcery, so don't try to threaten me. All you are is the most treacherous monster I've ever had the chance to defeat. Again, he needs a 6 or better. That means a 5 or worse will fail it. 5 times 5, 5% is each die. Right there, each point on that die, 20-sided die, to pass. So 5 out of 5, 5 times 5 would be 25% chance of failure. So we got better than a coin toss. We got a 3 and 4 chance really here. So let's give it a go. Come on, G-Bloss, don't fail me, buddy. So you see the knowledge arcana check there is great power and knowledge. It wraps you in an invisible veil and protects from the eldest blow. You feel his fury, but you know that it is not divine wrath, but the emotion of an ancient being. Mighty, but not almighty. Suck it, bitch.
I'm curious what you think of me, cursed king. Do you see me as a villain or a simple joker? In truth, well, I'll never be able to conceive of the truth. Being an eldest means being one of the many strings that hold the world in place. Being an eldest means being such a vast and self-sufficient value that one's equals become strangers and one's inferiors are entirely insignificant. I am an eldest. Laughter, guile, transformation, that's what I am. Being what I am, I will let you feel a modicum of my loneliness. I will take away your pillar of strength.
Oh, shit. He murdered my goddamn team. Holy fuck. Having lost all support, you face the deity alone. Silence hangs heavy over the ruined throne room. Okay, so we have choices here. Notice we have good, lawful, neutral, chaotic, or evil. So it's just alignment based at this point. I won't allow such evil to happen, and being what I am, I will retrieve what's been taken from me. Or lawful, you don't have the right to take anything from me, eldest, but I have the right to retrieve what's been taken unfairly. I'm good with this one. Let's go lawful. The blinding light flashes away, frightened like a living creature. The blistering metal of the curse cools. It still hurts, but the pain is no longer unbearable. You stand before the eldest as before a blazing living star, and he looks at you as if he's seeing you for the first time.
Good. You can play with words. Let us see if you can withstand the heat of my fire.
For a while, the Lantern King remains silent. You feel in this silence not angry bewilderment, but endless, boundless astonishment.
I shall end this suffering.
Time to fight again? Time to fight again. And my team is back on defeats, bitch. Alright. Oh, that's a skull! See this? Big horned skull. That was a pumpkin. Like a jack-o'-lantern. That's badass. Okay. My buffs are still there. Dora. Why don't I have spells? I guess we don't have spells. Okay. There we go. Let's do the... Yeah, fuck it. Charge this fool. Just start wailing on him. He's got health, but he ain't immortal. Eliza, she lost her buff though. Wow, check that shit out. Champions in the game of words. +4 sacred bonus on fortitude, reflex, and will save. Fucking awesome. Okay, she has some protections, but not all of her protections. Let us wail on. Swing and miss. 40 flat-footed. Okay, Octavia's turn to shine. Octavia, come over here for one. And you, madam, are going to... Just to make sure, impromptu sneak attack, and I'll hit him with battering blast. Get all that sneak attack love in there, and then do a nice quick and minute magic rod. And you know what? I think we're going to do the same thing again, but with disintegrate. He saved. How do I know that? Because it was only 50 damage. That's okay. Not surprising that he saved. He only needed a goddamn 1. But that took the damage down to 5d6 +1. But again, because we had the impromptu sneak attack, the 8d6 +8 was still there. So she's lost her Sense Vitals buff we had on her a moment ago. We can turn that off though now. Proto's turn. Again, she still has some buffs on, and she's got her little cantrip ready to rock and roll. Let's actually throw some acid in his face. Sneak attack damage, bastard. Not quite that much. 6 and 39, so we did 45, reduced it by 30, so he has 30 acid resistance. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. How about some snowball Bluetooth? Why not? Screw that. Let's do a nice the battery blast. Hey, that's some solid damage. She got all 4 balls into his face. That sounded dirty. Juby, is he considered evil at this point? No, it's okay. I have neutral fate. All right, then we're just force bombing the shit out of him.
A clever ploy.
Nice, buddy. If you had the chance to see a star die, spots of cold, lifeless darkness cover the fiery form of the Lantern King, growing, devouring, and with a dull moan settling onto the ground in a cloud of cold black dust. But a moment later, right where the eldest crown lay, burning, another shining image is born. It grows, glowing, turning into a familiar silhouette wearing a crown. Son of a bitch.
Defeat. What a refreshing feeling. I don't remember sensing it. 1,000 millennia.
The Lantern King freezes. His light flickers strangely and his mask begins to change with incredible speed. One breath and you are looking upon a horrible grimace of wrath. Another breath and it's replaced with playful astonishment. Another, it's the mask of fatherly care.
But what's next? How will you end this story? Listen, I know a good ending. Elegant and refined. The hero defeats a deity in battle. Impressive, it grants the victor power and immortality. The hero enters the chambers of the deity to become his champion and herald. Eternal, powerful, equally glorified both in the first world and in Galarian. His kingdom healed from its wounds and flourished under the rule of the immortal champion. A beautiful ending, isn't it? And this legend is yours for the asking.
So he's offering us immortality as his herald, which sounds like slave, and you know how I feel about that shit.
My spring, I beg you, do not listen. There is poison and evil triumph in his words. We may not be able to kill him, but surrendering now is the greatest mistake we could make. But even so, let wicked fate strike only me. Do you hear me, eldest? Take me, your favorite toy, and let the king and his kingdom go in peace.
You are so beneficent, trespasser. I didn't expect to see you like this. I might even accept this sacrifice, but what do you say?
We got a laundry list of shit here, so let's read them all just so we got a feeling for what we're looking at here, guys. What will you ask in return for immortality, eldest, and what exactly do you offer as a reward? What about Nyrissa? What will happen to her if I agree to your offer? Nyrissa, why do you offer to sacrifice yourself? Even if we cannot kill the eldest here now, we will continue to fight. Eternal life and power, the patronage of the eldest, I like this reward. I will not bow to you, eldest. Don't get your hopes up. Here's my offer. Lift the curse. Return my kingdom to Galarian and forget we exist, and I will forget that you exist. Finish it, man. Are you sure I can't kill you? I think I'll try. Ooh, I like that one. Let's finish it.
Did I tell you I don't like dying? Well, I don't. Perhaps we should stop this pointless exercise and speak seriously?
Alright, fine. He won't let us kill him. I think there was a way to do that too, by the way, so I think we missed something, by the way. Let's do... I will not bow to you, eldest. Don't get your hopes up. Here's my offer. Lift the curse. Return my kingdom to Galarian and forget we exist, and I will forget that you exist. After you speak, the silence falls. Deep as a chasm. Light pours from the eyes of the Lantern King's mask, still the mask of paternal care, though you do not mistake this for what lies hidden behind it.
So be it. This performance has run its course. It would be unwise to continue. Besides, I have no love of dying, returning to life. My fellow eldest are very good at playing especially intricate pranks at that exact moment.
I think this is how we should have killed him. Well, we missed an opportunity, I think, to talk to some of the other eldests and get them on our side. Don't know where that was at. Apologize for not showing it to you guys, but I had no idea on that one. But I think I remember seeing somebody doing a playthrough where they literally kissed up to another eldest somehow, and they were able to literally use that knowledge at the right moment, which I'm assuming was this, to kill the son of a bitch outright.
Farewell, my spring. Let us say goodbye quickly and end this painful moment. I cannot allow you to be harmed. That is why I must remain to the court of the Lantern King, a safeguard and hostage. I will try to ensure that the eldest's eyes never again stray to your lands. Remember the sad nymph, Nyrissa. Or forget, if you wish. There is but one thing I ask of you. Be happy.
No.
You were cursed by my will. By my will, you are now free from the curse. May the shackles be broken, fetters be loosened. What's been stolen will be returned. What's been divided will be made whole again. I say farewell, and release your kingdom to the material plane. Go, be glad of your ordinary mortal life. Forget the gods of the first world. Now they no longer concern you.
Not the best ending, but I'll take it. Get out my kingdom, bitch. No trespassing. Alright, so now this will be the end, where we go through story chapters.
Now that the eldest and other spiteful beings wouldn't be bothering us, the king returned to his subjects and celebrated the victory and the end of the kingdom's miseries with great fanfare. Everything gradually returned to normal, including our exciting lives. Not always peaceful, but also not troubled by invasions from another world. And little by little, our heroes and the common folk began to forget the sorrows of the past. Sometimes, on clear spring nights, the king saw dreams. In them, the nymph Nyrissa, pale and exhausted, walked through endless mist as she helplessly searched for salvation.
Shame we didn't find a way to cure her from the curse.
Under the wise leadership of the king, the stolen lands became a true country. There was still much to be done, of course, and some of it will need to be finished by our heroes' descendants. But there are no longer cut purses on every corner, and the peasants aren't afraid some new self-proclaimed chief will show up and strong-arm himself into power.
I'll take it.
The king firmly eliminated banditry in the stolen lands, to the delight of the long-suffering locals, and brought peace and law to the area. That peace didn't last long, however. A jolly gang appeared in the Gnarl Marches, claiming to fight the tyranny of the king for the good of the common people.
Yeah, we're gonna kick their ass.
No kingdom can function without its nobility, and the kingdom in the stolen lands is no exception. Landowners, ready to share the burden of ruling alongside the king, grew to be more and more influential over time. And the more pompous the court balls and receptions held by dukes and baronets became, the more eventful were the lives of the schemers and freeloaders who always live within the shadows of the powerful. The feud between Brevois North and South, which had been smoldering for ages, finally sparked the fires of civil war. Our troops lent aid to the forces of Restov, led by Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. After several bloody battles, House Sertova was forced to recognize Restov's independence. The victory came at a high price, but we have no more loyal ally than once more free Rostland. Kasil Aldori, who lost an arm during the war, became a permanent ambassador of Rostland at our court.
Ah, that sucks, bro. We helped Jamandi Eldori. Props. She gave us our damn kingdom as far as I'm concerned, and we were on her side as far as I was concerned from start to finish. The fact that her adoptive son literally lost an arm in combat, that straight up sucks, though. But, again, permanent ambassador. Give him a good ending.
The Tiger Lords found it difficult to recuperate after what Armagh did to them. The barbarians remaining in Numeria weren't very happy that we sheltered the deposed chief and his supporters. But they were too afraid of him to attack us over it. That bomb has a long fuse, but it's definitely burning. I'm afraid that a few generations down the road, the grandchildren of the current Tiger Lords may want to retaliate against us for their grandfathers.
Okay, so now again, remember, I know I'm giving you guys a lot here, but it's the very end, so this is our last chance to expound on this shit. Remember, we had choices for who led the Tiger Lords. We could have made Armagh, which we did. We could have gone with, I don't know, could we have done Amiri? Possibly. She kicked his ass, so I think that was a possibility. Could have been someone else, though, too. I can't remember the guy's name. Dagoth. Yeah, Dagoth. And I actually would like the Goth better, but he saw he was being fucked. And in my opinion here, our Mog deserves a chance at redemption. Because he, again, was manipulated by the sisters. Remember the Faceless Sisters? So again, this is not really his fault that he was manipulated all his goddamn life. He saw the wisdom in his mistake. And I was happy to give him a chance. Now, this may be a bad ending as far as the game is concerned. I disagree.
Pitax almost returned to its former state. A joyful city filled with beers of dubious quality and deals of questionable legality. The old trade houses lost the crown, but they retrieved the property Iravetti had taken from them. Soon, Pitax became almost like a second capital in the kingdom, a thriving city through which rivers of money from across the region ran. Unfortunately, we get much less of this money than we would like. Governor Liachenza turned out to be helpless against widespread embezzlement.
And again, we had an option for who to pick here. I have no idea who the other person was, but there was two. Matter of fact, I do think I remember who the person was. I don't know their name. I think it was the head of the bards in that area. I can't remember who the hell she was, though. And I didn't like her, if I remember correctly. If this is who it was, I didn't like her specifically because she was the one that was sleeping with King Iravetti, the Pitaxian jackass, and then was constantly bitching about him all the time, too. So you have it hop into his bed to basically, get everything that you want, and then you turn around and talk shit about him. That was some crap. So that's why I went with this guy. And again, was not the heir, I guess, but the rightful ruler of this area was the original families. Again, this is one of the former Pitax king's brothers.
Amid chaos and fighting, Headmistress Gitaren managed to preserve the Academy of the Arts, though not its reputation. Only sycophants willing to dash off odes to the highest bidder, primarily our king, stayed to work and study under her tutelage. One could say the Academy still flourishes, though in the same way a pond covered with duckweed turns green on a sleepy summer day, slowly becoming a swamp. No one dreams of studying at the Academy anymore. But for those more concerned with reality than dreams, it will always have a comfortable room.
That sucks. That was a terrible ending for that one, too.
Trolls and kobolds, two of the most savage native peoples living in the Gnarl Marches, were completely exterminated in the region. The forest paths became much safer, and the peasants' cattle have stopped going missing.
I'm cool with that, I suppose.
Bartholomew Delgado still serves the king loyally. From time to time, he orders peculiar mechanisms and substances from all corners of the world. After receiving them, he spends a few days bragging about some great discovery he's about to make, then ends up gloomy for a few months. Then he receives another package, and the process repeats itself. At night, chilling screams are often heard from his laboratory.
That's not cool, bro.
After enduring so many storms and troubles, Varnhold eventually turned into a real city. Daring settlers decided to conquer the vast, wild expanses of Dunsword, and despite all odds, they succeeded. The modest colony that almost vanished at the hands of an ancient lich turned everything around to become a thriving city with lively river trading. Mites led by the warrior Queen Bada'a keep causing trouble in the vicinity of the old sycamore. They scare the fishers, hold centipede races, and drag anything they find lying about back to their caves. Clothes left out to dry, dog kennels, even anvils. When the king visits them, they seem to calm down, for about a day, sometimes even two.
Okay, thieving fuckers, whatever.
Oleg's trading post continues to thrive, attracting even more travelers. Much to its owner's displeasure, a small town is springing up around it. Despite Oleg's grumbling, he and his wife are well regarded by everyone, and Svetlana was even elected town chief. Making sure her sister was safe, the former bandit Kressel traveled south. Her trail went cold somewhere in Absalom's docks. They say she changed her name again, and now serves on a trade ship, hiding from old acquaintances.
Yeah, that's fair. Kressel, we saved her. There's only one real good way to do that, and I think you have to be a good alignment or a lawful alignment to do that properly. You have an option to do so. If you do so, she's basically an ally. You can get her killed as the Stag Lord at the very end there, but or at the very end of chapter 1. But still one of those where if you save her, I prefer this ending. She kind of fucked up her life a little bit, and her sister Svetlana was worried. On an evil playthrough of mine, I got her killed like immediately. Matter of fact, I think we took her out specifically. So she was a tough nut to crack, but again, still one of those where you had to progress the story forward. So she either lives or she dies. And there's only one good way to make her live.
Jod and Keston, after surviving the Bloom, remained loyal to the king they followed through thick and thin, and they continue to serve as court advisors to this day. The austere priest and the gloomy warrior regularly argue over the proper way to govern the state, as well as which of the two rulers should hear out first. Some things never change.
And again, this was the best ending in this particular one. This was the time in the game where literally we were supposed to either go to our capital and save Jod from that giant-ass owlbear and all the other monsters, or go help Keston for the Bloom, where the flower was at. Keston dies if you go save Jod. Jod dies if you go save Keston. But before you are given the choice basically for who you're going to go save, Keston's telling you that he's going to go break your rules and go do this thing with the Bloom because it's his duty. And you literally have to have a specific alignment. I think, again, lawful. Maybe even lawful good, where you literally tell him, fuck off, I'm in charge, jackass, do your job, go back to our capital and save our people. He begrudgingly agrees, heads back. Now again, it gives you time to head back there, save everybody, including Jod and Keston, and then go to the Bloom and finish the Bloom off. Again, nothing bad about that ending, very good choice. There is, something about this that I'm not a fan of, the fact that it is alignment restricted. So if I'm doing a specific playthrough where I'm maybe not lawful or good or lawful good or whatever it is that's needed to do this one, that I will not be able to save one of my two advisors. And that sucks because that means now you need a replacement advisor for whoever gets murdered. And you may not have thought that through, and that means you are literally a man or person down. And there's multiple times where this comes up in the game where the alignment, like again for Cressel, really does matter. To be able to save her, you have to be this alignment. And that definitely sticks in my craw. I'm not a big fan of that shit.
Keston Garres took a post as chief of the kingdom's guard. The former heir to a noble family never returned to Brevoy, severing all ties to his kin. However, a few years after the victory over the First World, a girl arrived from Brevoy and soon married Keston. They say Keston started smiling a lot more after that.
I think that was his lady love, the one that he literally turned his back on his family for. That's awesome. She stayed behind. Remember, if you talk to him, you find out that she stayed behind after he left in disgrace from his family. They kicked him out. And then he became a fighter, which is why he joined us. But the point was, she stayed behind because her mom was dying. And she couldn't bring her mom, I guess, with her, was the idea. So she stayed behind. So not only did he lose his family's title, he was supposed to marry some rich bitch that he didn't care two rat's ass about because it was a family arranged marriage. Pissed them off. Left town. Didn't even get the woman. So this is actually pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that ending.
Jod remained loyal to the king to the end of his days, healing the sick and generously sharing his austere wisdom with anyone who wished to hear it, and some who didn't. Having fulfilled his duty to the ruler, Erastel's priest peacefully departed this world, surrounded by friends and disciples.
Well, all right, buddy.
Having participated in Lamashtu's ritual, Olika gave birth to a strong and healthy baby. Sadly, the child grew into an unruly and violent adolescent. Having maimed a peer at just 10 years of age, the boy escaped to the Gnarl Marches, fleeing the rage of a mob that tore his mother to pieces instead. No one knows what happened to the lad, but legends of Lamashtu's child, who sometimes kills lost travelers and sometimes leads them to safety, are passed on by word of mouth throughout the area.
That's a fucked up ending. Okay, my bad. Who thought that saving an unborn child would have been such a problem?
The Fae took a fancy to the kingdom, feeling totally at home here. They often play various pranks, but they never do any serious harm. Falcos and Teresia managed to restore the magic forest. Once freed of the anger of the Scythe Tree, people returned to the abandoned village, and it became a haven of friendship between the Fae and ordinary people, just like old times.
Oh, I like the little mountain face thing here. That's pretty cool. That's badass. This is the Scythe Tree problem that we solved. And again, I don't see how that would have been any other way. Unless you literally attack these two, I suppose.
The lizard folk of the Longtail tribe returned to live on the shores of Candlemere, but they couldn't return to their ancient way of life. Living alongside people, the lizard folk adopted their behaviors, habits, and even religion. More and more of the Longtail tribe pray not to the spirits of their ancestors, but to Erastil or Gorum. They even began to forget their original language. I hope someone writes down their songs and legends before they all sink into oblivion.
I'm not sure that that's a good ending either. Although, I can't think of another way that that would have gone.
The goblins who put so much effort into preserving the king's lands obviously felt that gave them the right to do whatever they wanted in the kingdom. Travelers are careful to move in groups when they can, and any peasants who spot at least one particularly toothy stranger immediately raise the alarm. For if you see one goblin, there's likely a whole gang.
And again, I don't know what else would have done there. I guess kick him out of the kingdom.
A delegation of wizards from Absalom and other areas appeared in the kingdom one day, asking for permission to examine the lair of the Lich Farneris the Thoughtful. After completing their research, the wizards spent a long time thanking the king for freeing the world of that monster. In their opinion, he'd been capable of causing the end of the world, maybe even 2 worlds. The Sweet Teeth departed on a journey, hoping to see as many wonders as possible of this world and others. They keep sending us news from every corner of the map. Their bright painted wagon, drawn by a bull mastodon, crisscrosses Golarion, somehow appearing in the center of one incredible story after another.
Cool.
Evindra was glad to see the Lantern King's plans turn to dust. She spent some time helping restore the kingdom after the calamity, then returned home to the First World. They say the rebellious spirit of her cousin Nyrissa awoke within her as well. Evindra is said to recount our story to the Fae, encouraging them to question the power and might of the eldest.
Yeah, that's gonna go over big, I'm sure.
After the victory, the storyteller abandoned his affairs and began spending a lot of time alone in contemplation. He eventually bid farewell to the king and left his lands. But I suspect the inhabitants of Golarion haven't heard the last of this mysterious traveler, for his own story is hardly finished. The ancient artifacts gathered by the king built the foundation of a museum collection that has become famous even in far-off Absalom.
Right on. We got all the pieces as far as I know for everything too. We didn't get all the treasures that we could have found in the game, though. I do know that. And I think that this is hinting to the fact that they're going to use the storyteller in part 2 of this game, the Pathfinder War of Exiles, or whatever the hell it's called.
Amiri remained a pariah to her native tribe, but she stayed close friends with Nylak, who ruled the Six Bears wisely and taught them to survive in the unfamiliar plains and cities. The restless barbarian would often travel for long stretches of time, but sooner or later she would always return to her old friends, bragging about new scars and recounting new feats, many of which Nylak immortalized in song.
I'm alright, and again, I don't think that's the best ending either, but I'm cool with that one.
Valerie stayed to serve the king, and to this day, she terrifies anyone who would dare break the law. Forceful and assertive, Valerie has finally shed her crowd of admirers and set herself upon the path of ultimate law, the same path so honored by the austere Hell Knights. Need I even mention that Valerie eventually decided to try on their black armor, only to find that it was a perfect fit?
Huh? What the hell?
Harren became famous, respected by dwarves throughout our kingdom as well as our neighbors, even as far as the Five Kings Mountains. He's often been asked to help out or teach others, and he's never denied anyone, despite his grumbling. Some people even listen to his preaching. Lucky for us, there's a lot less howling about the end of the world now, and more wise words of moderation and humility. Not all of his disciples turned to Grotus, but everyone took away something useful from his teachings.
I think that's a good one.
Jaethal spent some time at the king's court, but she then left to do whatever it was her new goddess required. She must have become a great inquisitor for Pharasma, as no one would know the ways of the undead and Urgathoa's cultists as well as a former undead cultist would. She was also seen in the company of Salim Godafar. It's unlikely the two became friends, being so different from one another, but it's a known fact that they worked together.
And I believe this is one of the reasons you cannot romance Jaethal, is I believe that Jaethal, or maybe it's Amiri, one of the two, is an actual character in the Pathfinder lore of the pen and paper version of the game, and as such they're supposed to marry or date or something with somebody else. Therefore they didn't want to put that in this game. For those of you that was curious why you couldn't romance specific characters, this is part of the reason why.
Octavia didn't stay still for very long. Soon, she and Reg went to Numeria and started a huge slave rebellion there. They didn't manage to destroy the Technic League, but to this day, slaves speak their names with admiration, and slavers with terror. Over the course of their journey, the two grew as close as ever, leaving their quarrels and resentments behind. After returning from Numeria, Octavia settled in her mother's house and became the king's advisor and loyal companion.
And on this ending, I'd like to actually add to the story. For my two mercenary friends, I told you that I was going to tell you what happened. So if you go to the very first video in this playthrough, you'll know that I had a story background for Dora in mind. I also had one for each of the two mercenaries that we purchased, basically Eliza and Proto-Lich. Now, what you don't know was Proto-Lich was, again, a slave just like Dora. You knew that from the very first or second or third video. But you didn't know more about why she became Proto-Lich, why she was turned undead, other than her owners wanted her to basically be a permanent slave forever, someone they would never have to pay for again, someone they could train, and it would basically be their slave for the family forever. That was the goal. What you don't know was that Eliza, as the Inquisitor, one of her first jobs was to bring the girl in to be turned into an undead. Because of that, she turned her back on her order, and that's why she left with a Proto-Lich, brought her to me, and has been doing her best to try to find a cure for what she basically caused. Because of this, the two of them teamed up and went with Octavia and Reg to help with that slave rebellion, because they were so opposed to it. She never found her cure, but to her dying day, she felt regret for not being able to cure Proto-Lich and bring her back to life. And that's the end of their story.
Rigangar left for Numeria with Octavia to start a slave rebellion. Over the journey, he really matured and learned to understand others, as well as how to control his anger. After he returned, he took a position in the king's court. Being both formidable and charming, he inspired fear in the hearts of some and lust in others. There are even some rumors that he almost talked Octavia into marrying him, and possibly even continuing the Della Fiorni line.
Go have some kids, you guys. Come on now.
Once the war was over, Tristan kept his promise to Sarenrae. In the middle of celebrating the king's victory, the priest suddenly disappeared in a flash of light, vanishing forever. I hope Sarenrae didn't take the Movonic Deva's memory, so her servant might still remember us and the stolen lands. Or if she did, I hope he was at least able to forget everything about the lands in which he endured so much suffering. After the war ended, Ekin hung up his bow on the wall and traded the path of the ranger in for the craft of the carpenter. It may not be the most heroic ending to a tragic story like his, but as Torag is my witness, Ekin's happy with it, as is Alina, who became his wife and is bearing his child. Any baby born into this family will be pretty lucky, since the king himself still visits his old friend and will likely become the child's patron.
Damn right it will. Godfather Dora here.
Jubilost returned to the life of a traveling explorer, frequently visiting his favorite kingdom. He said so himself. His famous work studying the First World all opened with a dedication to his longtime companion, the king. Sometimes, during Jubilost's performances, all kinds of chaos would break loose. Viewers turned into unicorns, or would be teleported to the top of a cliff. Later, Jubilost would be seen arguing fiercely with a pretty gnome named Nerb. The arguments looked very sweet and intimate.
He got himself a little love buddy.
As for Knock Knock, apologies, I mean Hero Knock Knock, he continued his questionably heroic efforts in the Stolen Lands. Despite whatever mess he fell into, no matter the danger he leapt into, he always seemed to scrape through just a little better off than before. Like true heroes, he simply never gave up, struggling on and meeting the challenge of each new day with a spirit that no mishap or misfortune could ever quell. The slightly inaccurate statue of him and the king still stands in the square to this day. The two figures side by side. I've always felt that, while the heights may be a bit off, let's say, it accurately reflects the size and spirit of the goblin hero who'd been nurtured by the teachings of his king.
And I'd like to add on to Knock Knock's story as well. When Ekin finally retired, if you will, and became a carpenter again, we needed someone for espionage. Clear replacement was Knock Knock. No one in the kingdom knew that Knock Knock was replacing him. They thought we literally decided that we didn't need an espionage agent anymore, or an advisor. They were mistaken. In one particular incident, Dora was cursed by a witch. His wife, in stories that not yet told, took her own team to find a cure for this curse, while the witch was trying to bed Dora as a maiden of some kind through an illusionary magic. Knock Knock before this was actually thrown out of the kingdom, believed to be responsible for the king's illness. This was a ruse put together between Knock Knock and Dora, and they were the only three, Knock Knock, Dora, and the captain of the guard, that actually knew this. And the reason that the captain of the guard was included in this was someone else that he could trust. Not even Dora's wife was aware of the fact that Knock Knock was innocent. When Knock Knock was kicked out of the kingdom, the queen started her quest with her friends and was looking for the cure and found it. While she was doing this, of course, she wasn't as experienced as Dora and his team. Knock Knock was always in the shadows, taking care of the larger threats that they never saw. After she came back with the cure, Knock Knock was welcomed back in as a true hero of the kingdom.
Absent her sister's influence, and after enduring their break, Kalika has become harsher and more intolerant of evil. She used all her influence as the legendary king's companion to create a string of shelters for young tieflings. These children have become her personal army, and as they matured, many have devoted their lives to fighting evil, especially devils and their plots.
Not the best ending ever, but I'll take it.
Despite all the woes that befell the country, our king remains a strong leader. Many noble houses from neighboring lands wouldn't hesitate to be related to him, and they regularly send a variety of marriage proposals. As for myself, the author of this book, Lindsay, who never chose a pretty nickname, I'm still here, inside my creation, within the Capitol Library. I live just like I always dreamed, surrounded by people and books, and not a day goes by without someone turning my pages. My story inspired many others to take up the quill. My readers have written many beautiful books and poems, transporting prisoners of humdrum lives into worlds of endless fantasy. What more could I dream of? I hope, O honored reader, that this story inspired some creativity in you, or at least offered some entertainment. In any case, it's time to set the final period.
Boop. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for following me in this amazing game. I will play it, of course, I'm sure, again. Probably do like an evil playthrough, but I won't do it as a video for you guys. You've seen enough, I'm sure. But that's it. That's literally all there is to show. There was one other thing we could have done as far as story. There is a DLC for this game, which I do have. I've purchased the whole damn game. The DLC allows you to do Varnhold's Lot, and what that is you start a separate campaign. You can do this separately or literally as part of your current campaign, but you need to do it before Varnhold gets taken over. I'm not sure how soon before, but I'd say if you hit it up at chapter 2, you'd probably be fine. And again, it's completely different characters. You make up a new person. You can link it to your story, and the reason that that's as important, it does add to the story about what happened to Varnhold. You actually get to see it unfold as they basically get taken over by the damn lich bastard. So that's what that DLC is about. I've never done it completely anyway. I've done it probably for the first couple of decent areas of fights, and it didn't really interest me because it wasn't the main story. And that's not their fault that they added that DLC. I do like the fact that they tried to include more of a story. I prefer the Tenabra Steppes, quite frankly, not only for its ability to force level characters up to test out builds and team compositions, but also, as you can see, in the actual gameplay, because again, added to the story and gave you extra levels that you needed. Again, we barely finished at level 20, and we did damn near all the content. So the fact that we needed to do the DLC to do that was kind of proof of that. Now, if you would have kept XP share on and shared XP for any of the skill checks as well, from what I understand, you still should have finished this game with a level 20 character, everybody, before fighting the Lantern King. The fact that we had 2 mercenaries that didn't, one of the 2 didn't get to 20 until after that or during that fight, is kind of proof of that. But it is hard, I will say. It is very, very difficult to get to level 20 in this game. I was at level 20 way before anybody else. And then from there, everyone else just kind of snowballed with me. If I would have taken my character solo, or even not even go solo, I could have done my Triumvirate of my 3 people, me and my 2 mercenaries, and gone through this game just sharing XP with just the 3 of us. We could have roll stomped everything once we got to 20, and we would have been 20, in my opinion, right around the time we hit Pitax. And if that was the case, then we literally should have just steamrolled everything from that point on. But I can see the appeal for taking the team. If you want to take a solo build attempt, highly recommend that it's a character with high dexterity and that has either a high touch armor class, which means like a monk dip or a monk period, or the Sword Saint was a viable option for me, as you saw. Another viable option is someone that has a lot of spells. And that could be a cleric, it could be a druid, that could be a wizard, sorcerer, whatever. But I mean literally a lot of spells. And why? Because you're going to need pets to summon. You will need crowd control, massive AoE spell damage, and I would not do turn-based combat. Why? Because you can cheese a lot of shit if you're doing the real-time with pause, which is the original version of this game. Having said that, though, I still maintain that it can be done a variety of ways, and I still think that you can do so. But with that, my name is Brother Newton. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think of the ending. Did you guys get the perfect ending? What did you think about the perfect ending? Put that down below as well, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.